What up, everybody? So I thought I'd come on here and do a little bit of an impromptu live. I know I haven't done a Saturday show in a while. Really, this was just off the cuff thing that I wanted to do because National Signing Day has come and gone. And I wanted to go over it during the week. I didn't really have the time, scheduling and everything, but I wanted to recap this class while it was still fresh in everybody's mind. Joaquin, what's going on? Any word on OC? Nothing yet. I'm not really gonna touch too much on the coordinator stuff today because this is going to be a shorter show. I'm going to go over the 2022 incoming recruiting class, and I'm sure tomorrow on Flo's show we're going to go over that. 8:45. Tune in. Sigmund, what's going on? So yeah, let's go over it. So Mario Cristobal, coordinator stuff, assistant coach stuff aside, the man came in 2 months ago. And when he arrived, Miami's class, according to 24/7 Sports, was ranked 64, 65th, some say 70 something like that. We were ranked like basically middle of the pack in the entire country. 2 months later, almost to the day, on National Signing Day, we finish out with the number 15 recruiting class in the country. I mean, that's remarkable. If you told me, hey, he's going to get this class back to the top 25, I would have been like, I'll take that. I will take that all day. I think that's a incredible achievement. And if you told me top 20, top 10, oh my God, like that would mean you got Shamar, you got this guy, you got that, you got everybody. But unfortunately, we did not get Shamar Stewart. That was the big story. But we did get some surprise flips, and along the way, we did get some key additions to this class that if the previous staff was still here, they would not have landed these guys. Maybe one out of these 4 or 5 big names that we ended up landing, and we ended up getting pretty much all, with a couple misses here and there, which, I mean, again, the man has been here 2 months and doesn't have a full staff, not even close to a full staff. So let's go over this class because really I'm excited about it. I'm sure you guys are too. So here we go. I'm going to start by going over, let's start with the 6 early enrollees. In particular, this guy right here, Jacurri Brown. Not Ja'Cory, not Jakari, Jacurri. I feel like I have to say that because it's a lot of people mispronounce his name. It's Jacurri Brown. And probably he's arguably the most important guy in this class because he's the quarterback. And it feels like a lifetime ago that he committed. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I know he was our first. At one time, he was the lone commit in this class. And obviously, again, very important guy to get because he keeps that quarterback factory going that we have right now. Right now it's TDD. Next up is Jake. After him is Jacurri. And after Jacurri, you got some talented guys coming through the 2023 class. So Jacurri Brown, again, feels like a lifetime ago when he announced he's going to be a Hurricane. But this guy's a top 250 recruit. I think he slid a bit in the rankings after he said he was coming to Miami. But the guy showed a lot of improvement in his passing game, and I think he's going to be a key guy moving forward. What's the floor for him? I think it's pretty high. I think he's going to be at least an all-conference player. He's going to probably be like in the top 5 all-time as far as stats for Miami quarterbacks. And I think he could at least lead us to, maybe 1 or 2 coastal championships. Whereas I think his ceiling is a Heisman Trophy contender. And helping lead this team to a playoff appearance, maybe a national championship game. I think that's the ceiling for him. He has a very high ceiling and a pretty high floor. So I think that was an important get there. Then you got also the most important guy in this class on defense, Wesley Bassane. Now, that ranking I think is absurd. He's not the number 183 player in the nation. He's at least a top 120, maybe a top 100 player, at least, at minimum. But Wesley Bassane was a guy at a position of need, which is linebacker. He's drawn comparisons to DJ Williams. I've compared him a lot on my show to Jesse Armstead, like that style of linebacker. But that's a guy that you absolutely had to keep at home. And at one time, I think we had lost him. At one time, the rumor was he was going with Florida State. It was getting dicey there. But kudos to, I got to give props. Kudos to Manny Diaz's staff for, that was the last great thing that they left us before they were let go for Mario's staff, is they went and picked up Wesley Bassane. See. And yeah, Wesley Player of the Year for his region as well as Kelly. Absolutely. Yeah, so we got some top guys on defense, especially in this class. So that's Wesley Bassane. He committed, I think, back right before early signing day, I think it was, or on early signing day, something like that. And then you got some elite talent up here. You got Kamari Rogers, who I think was the second commit for this class months ago. Top tier corner, borderline top 100 player, number 3 player overall in the state of Mississippi. At one point was ranked number 1. So he has the potential to be a shutdown corner. I think that's his ceiling, all conference, all American type of player. His floor, at least a starter on this team. The weight is a concern. He's going to have to get into that strength program and put on some weight. But that's a guy I'm very, very excited about. Again, a position of need. And then you got Jaleel Skinner, a guy that I thought we had an outside chance of getting, but I didn't really believe we were going to get. Then all of a sudden, while I'm at work, unfortunately, I don't have the best signal, so I don't always get updates to the minute. But one of my coworkers came by my office and told me, hey, they got Jaleel. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, yep, they flipped him from Bama. I'm like, oh my God, that is massive. People forget because, we didn't get this guy and we didn't get that guy. Some people were saying, oh, Mario's missing on guys. Listen, to flip a guy this late from Alabama, the top tight end in the country, from Alabama to Miami, that's massive. That's a huge recruiting win. And there's other recruiting wins that we had in this class, but he was the first of many. So Jaleel Skinner, again, a guy with a very high ceiling, a ceiling to be like a first or second rounder, in my opinion. All-American type of player, 6'5", 220 plus pounds, and he's got room to put on more weight. And he's going to be, I think that that style of that Kyle Pitts style of tight end, that new age tight end, that he can line up wide, he can line up with the offensive line. He's a little bit raw in the blocking, but he doesn't shy away from contact. I noticed that from the tape. He looks like a man amongst boys out there as far as size goes, but you got to remember, you got to fine tune blocking. You got in high school, you're going up against guys much smaller. At the college level, we'll see how good he gets at the blocking. This is a coaching staff that's going to teach him that, I think. And then over here, we got another recruiting win, in my opinion, that was huge. Nigel Lee Kelly. If the previous staff was still here, we definitely don't get him. He rated a 0.96, which is a very, very high 4-star. Sometimes 0.96 is close enough to get you to a 5-star rating. It's very close. Nigel Lee Kelly is a top 100 player, ranked number 89 in the country, ranked number 13th overall in the state of Florida. You know how good the talent is out of the state of Florida. Nigel Lee already bulked up to 240 pounds, and that's another dude with room to grow in Aaron Feld's strength program. Very excited about him. He can make an impact right away. Usually, the early enrollees are the guys that make an impact as freshmen, usually. So very, very excited that these guys, these 6 in particular, have enrolled early. And then after that, you got Cyrus Moss. All right, let me read Anthony's comment below. John, do you think Jacurri can have a chance to have the same impact on offense that a guy like Michael Vick did when he was at Virginia Tech? Michael Vick was the first of his kind, that type of explosive speed and that type of dual threat. So I don't know if his ceiling is quite that, but it's very close. I think he's the type of guy, and again, he drew comparisons to Cam Newton. Jacurri did. I don't think he I don't think he's going to be like a Cam Newton type of guy, because remember, Cam Newton, you're talking about one of the top 5 players of all time in college football, in my opinion, maybe number 1 because of what he accomplished 1 year as a starter. But Ja'Cory is very close to that ceiling. I think he can have an impact as far as taking us to a playoff or a national championship game and maybe being an All-American, maybe being a first or second rounder. He's got the size, he's got the arm strength. And if somebody can mold him, his accuracy, his mechanics, and all that stuff, he could be like a top 2 round pick. But as far as like a Michael Vick kind of impact, I don't know about that, but because again, Michael Vick was just first of his kind. And then let's see here. Let's find my mouse. Here we go. You got Cyrus Moss up here. Cyrus Moss was another big recruiting win. That was a guy that he was pretty much committed to Oregon for months. I don't know how long exactly, I'll be honest, but that was a Mario guy all the way. And when Mario came down here, this is the Mario effect they speak of. He was hired. All of a sudden, Cyrus Moss was like, you know what? That's been my dude this entire cycle. Let me go check out Miami, see what they're about. Miami was not even on his radar. Make no mistake, this dude was coming to play for Mario Cristobal. And once he visited, he was like, I'm in. And, kind of perfect timing because the weather's beautiful down here, especially this time of the year. And, he loved everything. He loved the atmosphere, the family atmosphere, obviously. Again, he is a Cristobal guy. So those are 2 elite edge rushers that we just landed, folks. So look for both of them to make an immediate impact this year in the 2022 season. Now, scrolling down, Trevante Citizen, another huge win. This was a dude that was pretty much slated to go to either LSU or Florida. It was LSU fans and Florida fans online talking smack to each other of who was going to get Trevante Citizen. And lo and behold, I heard an hour and a half before that, that the story, the rumors were gaining steam that, Trevante might flip to Miami, or he might choose Miami. And sure enough, he did. Another top, borderline top 100 player, top 10 at his position in the country, top 10 overall in the state of Louisiana. And the state of Louisiana produces some studs. That is a great state for football. So big get there. Now you have a full stable of running backs, in my opinion. Now you have 6. You might lose one to the portal, but that's why you have 6 or 7. You lose one to the portal. One guy gets nicked up with injuries. So at worst case, you get hit by the injury bug and stuff, and it's late in the season, you at least have 3. You at least have like 4 because you had that cushion of 6 or 7. So finally, depth is not an issue at running back. We got a stud right there. That's a guy that, in my opinion, not this season, but in 2023, can compete for starting snaps. Even with the guys that we have, I think he's that good. Give him a year to cook a little bit. He'll be ready to maybe start on this team. Chris Graves, speed, athleticism, another, that's the type of thing you want in your cornerback room. And at his height and weight, he's a guy that might be able to contribute right away, as opposed to Kamari Rogers, who might need a year in the weight room. He might have a year of just either redshirting or, maybe playing a little special teams. Chris Graves, at the very least, I think is going to be a playmaker on special teams, as a gunner or something like that, or on coverage. Or maybe we see him at corner in garbage time as a freshman. But I think that dude is another guy with a high ceiling, at least I would say like an all-conference kind of player, high, that type of ceiling. Same with Markeith Williams. You've all heard the story that he, in a game, I want to say it was a state championship game or some important game, as a junior, I believe it was, he fractured his wrist in a game, refused to come out of the game, and not only played well, led the team in tackles. That's a dude I want on my team. 170 pounds. Again, I don't know how updated the weight is. It usually isn't, but that's a dude that's going to need to bulk up a little bit too. Probably going to see some special teams time in this first season. He's probably going to play a little bit in mop-up duty against Bethune or Southern Miss. So we'll see a little bit of him. We'll see if he redshirts. We'll see if he gets some playing time, because that safety room is another one that's loaded. Then you got Isaiah Horton, 6'3", 190. Very, very, very excited about his size. I love his, the way he just goes up and fights for the ball. And he's a little bit on the raw side, but has great hands. I love his playmaking ability in the open field. He can really make guys miss. So maybe raw is not the right word, but I think his game has room to grow, I think is what I mean. He's got a lot of polishing to his game he can do as far as route running and things like that. But Isaiah Horton, that's one that I'm very excited about. He's the only receiver we took in this class because, there's a loaded group of wide receivers coming in 2023. If you give me Brandon Inniss and Jaylen Brown, done deal. I'm good with that. That is some serious talent. And then you got, who do you have coming back? You got Mello, you got Jacoby George. They'll be juniors by then. You got Restrepo. If he sticks around, he'll be a senior. That's exciting stuff. And then you got some of the back end guys, some of the 3 stars who I think have some solid upside. You got Ahmad Moten, who, I think he has the ceiling to be at least a rotational player, maybe a starter. And I think that dude, he, I believe he's the younger brother of AJ Moten, who played for Miami way back in the day. This was like 2013, 2014, so almost a decade ago. But Ahmad Moten, big body, 6'3", 290. He can bulk up to 300 plus. If we have a defense that has one of those, if we're running multiple looks, 3-4, that could be a guy that plays nose tackle. Right below him, Ines Cooper, 6'6", 350. They're probably thinking, okay, we need a couple of possible nose tackles on this defense, on this defensive line. So you got those 2 guys. If they're thinking a little bit of 3-4 here, those are 2 guys you can look to maybe run, because you need a nose tackle if you want to run a legitimate 3-4. I know 8 Canes all day. What's up, John? Frazier at Nebraska was first. Any walk-on players? By the way, good point about Frazier at Nebraska. And then any walk-on players? Yeah, I know Terrell Walden, who I know this individual was talking about him. Terrell Walden was a guy that his dad played for the Canes years ago. I want to say it was like 04, 05. And his son is going to be a walk-on running back. So good for him. As far as any other high-profile guys at walk-on, nobody that I know of. I believe Walden will earn a scholarship. He has a nice highlight tape. I have not seen a lot of tape on him, but hey, if his dad was good enough to play here and, those genes run through, then, maybe he'll surprise some people. Speaking of surprises, Anthony Morales saying Jaden Harris going to surprise everyone, low-key dog. That's what I've heard about him. This dude up here, Jaden Harris. Now, physically, he might be the one that's most ready of this crop of DBs that's coming in. At 6', 180, he's just outside of the top 500. We'll see. He could be one of those 3-star diamonds in the rough. And there have been many of those over the years. So we'll see what he does. And then, of course, you got the 5 transfers, which Mario Cristobal's gotten some criticism on how he did in the portal. So far, he's missed on either he missed on 1 or 2 guys, or maybe he didn't want those 2 guys. But the 5 he's gotten so far, I love, and I think fit this team perfectly, and I think fit what he's trying to do. You got Logan Sagapolo, first of all, who I think was the most important one of this group, 6'3", 340. This is a dude that can get rotational snaps right away, either at center or at guard. He's definitely going to light a fire under some of those interior linemen and get some competition going there. So that was really important. Antonio Moultrie, who is a guy that's probably going to be, He's going to play a little bit of edge, a little bit of inside, depending on the looks we have on defense. Reminds me a little bit of like a Trent Harris style of play. Trent Harris is in the NFL now, so I think something like that is his ceiling. I think, he can, but I think he could at least be, again, an occasional rotational player that offers some depth, which is important. You need those guys too. Henry Parrish Jr. Let me talk about this guy real quick. And you know what? There's only a couple guys left, so I'll stop my share here. Let me swing back. Okay. So there's a couple guys that, in the portal that we got that I want to touch on specifically. Henry Parrish Jr. is one of them. Henry Parrish Jr., and I'm not saying this because he and I went to the same high school, which again is the same high school as Cristobal and Maribel. Henry Parrish Jr. did not get the ratings coming out of high school that I think he should have gotten. He's rated like a 0.91 as a player coming out of high school, and a low 4-star recruit. If you look at Henry Parrish's tape, electric. I mean, his ability to cut and make guys miss in the open field is just ridiculous. His ability to hit top speed, stop, hit top speed again, stop, change direction, and hit top speed again on his second step is just absurd. And I think the fact that he's, 5'10", 180, 190, I think hurt him a little bit. Henry Parrish was being talked about at the time as one of the top 2 running backs in Dade County. It was basically him and Don Chaney in the 2020 recruiting cycle. Well, guess what? We now have the 2 best running backs in Dade County from 2 years ago in this running back room. So that, I mean, what else could you want? The 2 best running backs out of Dade County in Miami. You're usually in good shape when you have that. So Henry Parrish, I think, if given the playing time, if maybe somebody gets nicked up and he gets more burn, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we stay healthy. Rooster's an absolute beast. Don Chaney, if he gets healthy, we all know what he's capable of. But let's say Henry Parrish gets a little more burn than we thought he would. I think he's going to shock some people. The guy had over 500 yards at Ole Miss on minimal touches. And I think he scored like 3 or 4 touchdowns, something like that. And a very good receiver out of the backfield. So you have some versatility there. Frank Latson. Frank Latson is a former 5-star wide receiver that rated a 0.98. And if that's the guy, if it's the same guy as from a couple of years ago, I mean, I would be ecstatic. Obviously, we always love getting a 5-star, but he's had some injury issues over the last, year and a half or whatever it is. And, he's had some setbacks, but I think this is a dude that if he just gets rid of the injury issues, sometimes you need to change the scenery. And he's a guy that's, why not take a flyer on him? Why not take a chance? Because I don't think we needed another receiver in the portal. I think we were pretty solid with what we were coming in with. But you add a guy like that, it's low risk, high reward. And I think if the calculated gamble that was picking up Frank Latson pays off, he could be your KJ Osborne or Charleston Rambo of this class, but maybe even better, because I think this dude has a higher ceiling than both those guys. Let's see what Anthony's saying. John, should I be worried that the scouting reports on Chris Graves say that once he gets on campus, he's going to have to transfer to the safety position and not stay at corner? I think there's not enough proven guys at corner, Anthony, to tell me that he has to move, because you got Tyreek Stevenson coming back this year. So you got one side locked down. That's great. But he's only here for one more year. Beyond that, yeah, you got Kamari Rogers coming in. Yeah, you got Jaden Harris, who, might get some playing time. Maybe he becomes a starter one day. We'll see in a few years. You got Malik Curtis. You got, I can't think of who else do we have at corner. that I'm not thinking of. By then, Blaze and Ivy are gone, and Clark and Dunson, they'll be seniors by then. By 2023, we're talking next year. Yeah, I think you need a guy like Chris Graves at corner. I don't know if we have enough proven talent at corner, so let them compete. Maybe he grades out better as a safety, but it's not because we're too full at safety. If you're saying, okay, he would fit more at safety, okay, fine. You move guys around. This defense is going to have a lot of, 3, maybe sometimes 4 safeties on the field at once. So we'll see. Let's see. I believe all the backs complement each other well and have their own little flavor. Yeah, agreed. Knighton and Parrish are very similar. Knighton, I think, has more elite speed than Parrish, but Parrish is fast and explosive. And they can both catch out of the backfield. We saw that. And Rooster, even at 5'8" or 5'9", whatever he is, we saw in the Florida State game in that touchdown that should have iced the game. He's tough to bring down for a smaller guy. To Corey Couch. That's what I was trying to think of. He had a bit of a drop off this year. So that's what I'm saying. There's not a ton of proven bodies at corner yet. There's not that one. There's not a Tyreek in that freshman, sophomore class that I can be like, oh yeah, starter for sure. Set it and forget it. No, we don't have that right now. We have some good players, guys that can, make some plays, but there's no other Tyreek on the team right now. That's what we have to develop. That's what we have to find. It's up to Graves. That's true. Iceman, if we win in performance, recruiting will be very easy for Mario in the future. Oh yeah. Listen, look what he did with 2 months. Imagine a year. He's going to bring a couple of elite corners in this coming class. So don't worry. Mario's tenure is not about this coming season. Although this coming season is the start, it's going to be 2023, 24, 25, the next 5 to 10 years. So let's see. Randy, let's see what he's saying. John, any names in the portal we want? I would say that Chris Mull was a guy that I've liked, but I don't even know if he's in the portal still because the portal's always changing. I definitely believe they're going to take somebody for sure because I like who we got with the young guys with Chase and Wes, and now you got Austin Cave and Deshaun Troutman coming up. Deshaun's going to be a sophomore now. I like who we have, but you want that one experienced veteran, like what we've done with receiver the last couple of years. You want that veteran to lead this young group. See, pretty sure Oregon had a number 5 class last year. I expect no less from Miami, but probably with a higher score on the players. Agreed. I think we'll have at least a top 8, top 7 class next year. Top 5 will be great. John, it seems like the corners we have on the roster besides Dunson are all destined to be slot corners. Yeah, there's a few smaller bodies there. I see what you're saying. Tyler Johnson, another linebacker that could surprise some people. Could someone explain why DVD is not the cornerbacks coach? The only explanation I can give is he doesn't have a ton of experience, and I know Mario wants to build like a top-notch staff. But DVD's a hell of a recruiter, so maybe he finds his way to that position. We'll see. Maybe that's how Mario keeps him. I think that's how he ends up keeping him. You got to keep DVD on the staff. I truly believe Miami is going to be right there with the big boys next year: Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M. I don't know about next year, but in the next 2-3 years, yes. It takes time to build that because remember, the programs you're mentioning, especially the first 2, those are teams that have layers and layers of like 4- and 5-star guys that if somebody gets hurt, okay, the 5-star behind you was number 1 in his class. He'll take your place. Or not. We have that at like 1 or 2 positions, but not like across the board. It takes time. Maybe like 2-3 years from now, we'll be at that level. Could we upset one of those teams next year, particularly Texas A&M head-to-head? Sure. In a 1-game scenario, maybe. We'll definitely have the better quarterback, that's for sure. So let's see if there's anything else I missed. I'm not going to be on much longer, guys. I just want to touch on this class. John Coach Coop has Phil Walden. I got to check that out. Every year you should have a Trent Harris type of player. Agreed. John, is Darnell Washington a take for you if the rumors are true that he might be transferring out of Georgia or Alabama? I'm not sure which school he went to during his class. I mean, where are we at tight end? You got Will Mallory coming back. You got Jaleel Skinner coming in. And you got Hodges and you got Mammarelli. I mean, you're not like super deep at tight end. Yeah, I mean, he's a talented player. I don't see why not. If he's I can't tell you how great he is as a blocker, but if you start getting more and more transfers from the Georgias and the Bamas, and it's a talented player, why not? Why not have the best teams, the elite teams, don't worry about players. Oh, if I bring in this guy might leave. Arroyo, thank you. I knew I was thinking that I'm missing somebody. Yeah, Arroyo, of course. So you got Arroyo, Jaleel, Will Mallory. I mean, you're really good at tight end right now, especially as far as playmakers go. Arroyo's an insane blocker. I know Mario's going to love that. Could there be a transfer out of that tight end room, maybe, from the guys behind them? Because you also have Khalil Brantley. I forgot about Khalil Brantley. I don't know. I think because of how good Arroyo is and how high his ceiling is, I don't know if you go ahead and take Darnell now that I think of it. But the elite teams, what I was going to say is they'll always look to improve, even if it's by a little bit, even if a player ends up leaving because a new guy came in, they don't care. They put the best guy out there, regardless of what his name is. So really, that's up to the coaches. I'd be fine with staying with who we got, honestly. I mean, especially Arroyo and Jaleel. I mean, man, that's going to be insane the next couple of years. John, I was talking about in recruiting in reference to Ohio State damage. Oh, in recruiting. We'll be up there in recruiting. Yeah, and I think, and we'll end on this, I think that's why. I think it's no coincidence that these other teams are trying to undermine what Miami's doing by poaching our coaches. That was definitely a targeted thing by those staffs, because if you can get an ace recruiter onto your staff and also take him away from Miami, that's a win-win. And it's killing two birds with one stone. And it's very smart, because now that Mario's here, they know how tough it is going to be to pluck the top guy from IMG, the top guy from American Heritage, the top guy from Northwestern. Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, they used to just waltz in and, Saban would land his helicopter on somebody's field, and he would do that. He would pluck the number one guy out of Miami, out of Broward County. It's going to be very, very difficult to do that now. And they know that. They're not dumb. I'm not saying they're scared of Miami, but they know what we're building, and they're trying to undercut us. So another big reason Kevin Steele was a huge hire and a great chess move. Hopefully they hang on to him, because I know, there's some stuff going on at Auburn right now. Hopefully Kevin Steele finds a home and sticks here for a little while. The guy's a monster defensive coordinator as far as a schemer, game planner, developer of linebackers. I mean, he is precisely what you need at defensive coordinator. He's a little older, but he's not out there making the tackles. He doesn't need to be a 30-year-old guy. He's the guy behind the scenes calling the plays. He's the brains of the operation. So, with that age comes experience. So I'm fine with that. Yes, I just mentioned this. What about Steele's name coming out if Auburn coach gets let go? I just hope Mario has a plan there and keeps him here. Even if Steele is the one guy, because I heard one of the reasons why there was a delay in naming a DC, it was the whole co-DC situation. If we can get a guy that could be a co-DC with another coach. If Kevin Steele wants that position all for himself, I would give it to him. That's just me. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. I just wanted to come on and recap this class, talk a little Canes football, which, it's good to talk Canes football any day, especially now when times are good. It's exciting times. I cannot wait till September 3rd, I believe, is the home opener. It's February 5th. We're still a few months away, but we all know these next few months are going to fly by. Anyways, it's all about you guys. Take care. Have a good night.